Ding dong.
Teddy Spaghetti, you are on the air.
What is up, guys?
Hey, we're just talking about robots and the future. What's on your mind?
Well, you're talking about those sex robots, and already I'm wondering how far is this going to go, and wondering some of the legal troubles we might actually get to in the future because of the sex robots.
Well,
one thing.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering about copyright laws. Like, is there going to be lawsuits about people stealing maybe celebrities' images for these dolls without their permission? Yep. Like, it just seems like a can of worms on that end, and others as well. You know, there are going to be some sickos, too, that customize the dolls in whichever way they want.
Yeah.
You're going to have, like, furry dolls and anything you can imagine. So I'm just curious,
right.
what type of attachments are you guys wanting on your doll?
I don't want. Okay, fine. I'll have sex with the TV character Elf. I want to have that little.
Alf, you want to bang Alf?
Yeah, the Gordon Chumsley from the TV show Alf.
All right, can I get Chitara?
You can do it. This is how ridiculous.
Chitara, yeah, that would be great. That'd be good for the furries too. You can get all the Thundercats. Let's bang the Thundercats.
Yeah,
dude.
get that childhood nostalgia fuck in.
This is how ridiculous it's going to get, is that they're going to produce a base robot model, and then you're going to subscribe to upgrades, whether it's Tom Cruise or Elf or something like that, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be robot as a service. And then you're going to have to subscribe to the sexual personality upgrade or the vacuuming upgrade. And they're going to sell these software packages as a service. You'll have your base model that'll do some like normal things like walk the dog, but any of the emotional upgrades or activity upgrades is going to be an additional charge. They're going to make it tiered because that's exactly what they're doing online with software right now. You subscribe to Photoshop, but if you want Illustrator as an additional charge, this is how it's going to be. And I think it's going to be slowly filtered down to the middle class to divide us.
And here's what's going to happen. They're going to come up with a robot like Hitchbot, where we talked about him on an old show. He runs on jizz.
Yep.
Someone's going to invent that robot, and then that technology is going to get suppressed the same way the water car was suppressed. It's like, well, we can't have people who can run their own sex robots on jizz, because then it's a sustaining robot sex machine. And we can't have that. We have to have one that needs to plug into the network. It's trackable. You need to pay for the subscription, you know?
Well, much like what's happening with the farmers and their proprietary software running their tractors and large farm equipment, farmers, as we read about a year and a half ago, they have turned to open source Russian or Ukrainian software to run their tractors, so they don't have to pay the monthly or bi-monthly maintenance fees for the software updates. I agree with
that's
you.
Going to be scary. That's going to be scary because you're going to have, you either have pay to play, literally, like you got to pay to play with your robot, or you're going to have like these scuffed up countries doing their own like little upgrades and patches, and it's only going to be a matter of time till like one of those robots like flips a gear and somebody injures an orifice in a way they don't want to.
I totally agree. The robot lawsuits are going to be out of control, and so we will actually probably see like another Red Scare. But when it comes to robots, we'll have Russian robots infiltrating, and whatever kind of boogeyman will be at the time. It was like, oh my God, that these Chinese robots are infiltrating the American family and taking over, or the Russian sex bots are displacing American sex bots. It's ridiculous.
Thank you, Russia.
Joe Esca, our listener, Joe Escobedo, I don't know how to say his name, but he's been a long time listener.
Yeah.
He's saying it's going to be like the EA model, which I think is probably the right way to look at it.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely right. They're going to nickel and dime everyone. It's not to say that I want a robot, but if people want a robot, they should be able to afford one and not be nickel and dime to death with DLCs. And what EA does with DLCs, like you buy half the game, and then the rest of the half of the game is behind paywalls.
I love that you have Hitchbot up there.
Yeah, Hitchbot. That's it. Oh, God rest Hitchbot's soul in life. He was fucked to death in Boston. Oh, jeez.
Stop pumping.
It's gonna be rough.
Okay, you got anything else for
Holy
us?
shit. No, that's about all I got, guys. I'm just curious about all these legal lawsuits that we're about to see in the future together.
Once you enact one of these robot laws, it's going to have a cascading effect, and then you'll see other countries either alleviate or release some pressure on some of these laws. I don't think the lawmakers want to even get into this because it has unintended consequences once you start regulating this.
Yeah.
And they don't want to stall the economy with a potential productivity gains with these robots. So it's a dicey situation, but something has to be done. I believe there's got to be some sort of AI regulation. And if you believe that the technology exists already for the secret space program, the Pentagon has like 50 to 100 years more advanced technology, what's commonly known, I suspect they got the same shit when it comes to AI and these thinking computers.
They better.
Yeah, it's all happening, okay?
It better be happening. I need it to happen. That's all I got, guys. But get to those missing children. Is that later on the show?
No,
we're talking about the missing children later on?
I think we're going to talk about that right now.
All right, sweet. Y'all get to it, and great show as always.
Bye, Daddy.
Thanks, Teddy.
You piece of shit.
Sorry.
I wanna mention something about that Teddy kind of brought up as you guys were talking. Is the and I know it's sort of a sidetrack, but the notion of like regulations opening up this Pandora's box, because this happened recently over the week with Trump and the tariffs, and I think a lot of people would accuse us of not criticizing Trump enough, but I'll go ahead and drop one in here now for an economics lesson, which would be that the tariffs that he was, increasing to kind of match other governments' tariffs to sort of like start this trade war that we heard about in the news. What this did was it resulted in a loss of profits for, soybean farmers and various agricultural industries around the United States, which was the most observable one. And so as you see this as a policy of government, increasing tariffs lowered the wages of the farmers. And so instead of, what that should have done is it should have brought more money into the government, right? And said, hey, you're going to give us more tariffs, and that's the fee you pay to get stuff from us. And then because the farmers lost money, Trump is like, well, we're just going to give you government money. And it's almost like, well, if you never had the thing in the first place, you would never have had to have it at all.
Yeah,
right? Does that make sense?
I get it. So, I mean, it's a subsidy that's going to be there. It's welfare for the farmers. There's welfare for the military-industrial complex and bomb-making
right,
stuff.
But you wouldn't even need to give it if you didn't have the tariff, which is a government policy to begin with. So it's almost like the first time you set that rule, which is like, to go back to the minimum wage thing that I talked about earlier, it's like the first time you set it, it's like it never goes away. It just starts and it's there. And then all you really do is apply Band-Aids to this thing, and it's like, dude, the guy's head was chopped off like 30 years ago. You just have like 10,000 Band-Aids on it.
And I get why the tariffs are in place, because it's tough for American manufacturers and workers to compete with Chinese slave labor, which doesn't often get up. But yeah, there's Chinese slave labor, sweatshops, and various other Asian businesses are able to pay their workers virtually nothing and be able to ship products over here at below market value of the products we produce as well too. So it's a race to the bottom. It's not going to benefit the workers. I understand why the tariffs are in place, and I think that's a nice shot across the bow to China, but it does have a lot of unintended consequences. It does, and you're actually almost advocating for a new world order or a one world government where there is a global minimum wage. And it's tough. It is a tough situation. The only other possible solution is much like during after World War II, where America's economy ramped up because we bombed the fuck out of everyone else. So we were one of the only places that could really crank out goods for the entire world. So, okay. Oh, boy. You're back.
Yeah, the temperature here is too high, apparently.
Oh, for your iPhone?
Yeah, it just it showed me the temperature gauge.
Oh, okay.
So now I'm just on the laptop.
Okay. Well, let's transition over and actually get to that